Hi and welcome. I have a fun art tag for you today, but as always I start with a tag that I've cut out of Bristol smooth paper on my Cricut. You can cut your own, you can buy them, you can use whatever. I do recommend Bristol smooth just because it does blend easier. I'm going to be using this Tim Holtz stencil, and I like it because it looks like you're going to layer on some plaster or whatever. So I'm kind of going for that effect, but different. I'm going to be stamping through some of the larger holes so you can see through the final piece, see the text through it. I'm using this stamp from the Obscure, and so you can't really read this stamp anyways, but I chose it because it's the size of it makes it easier to press into a stencil. But I'm sure if you work with any stamp, it would probably work. So I'm going to be doing a different kind of technique, at least for me. I don't know if I've done it here before, but I'm not sure if I've seen anyone else do it, but we'll see. Probably. I don't know. So I'm placing it back. It doesn't have to be exact because it's just the text there. And I'm going to be adding some kitsch flamingo. I'm using the regular, but you could definitely use the oxide, and specifically going in the areas that have the print, in more areas than that, but you want to make sure you get those at least. And then, add as much as you think you want. And I want to quickly use some clear embossing powder, and I want it to, because I want it to seal in all those areas. Now if you have little extras, I can see someone gave me a really valuable tip, but I often forget to use it. Cutting these on a Cricut puts a little sticky stuff on your tag, at least the side that was down. And so sometimes I forget to, you don't feel it, but it's there. Sometimes I forget to use my static because I'm thinking there's nothing there for it to stick to, but there really is this slight bit of glue from your Cricut on your tag. I had never thought of that, so I was very thankful for that tip. I just wish I remembered to use it more. So now I'm going to emboss those areas, and embossing those areas will protect those areas, and the color will not change as I add more inks. And I'm going to use some picked raspberry. Very light touch of it, but I'm going to go over the entire card, even over the areas that already have the embossed area. And later, then I'll just take a dried baby wipe, or you could use a paper towel, just to remove any of the ink laying on top of the embossed area. And then worn lipstick to kind of just give it a different tone, and that will really bring out the color of the kitsch flamingo underneath the embossed area. See, I'm just cleaning it off just to bring it out a little more. Anything that was laying on top of that embossing. And because I like some grunge, if you don't, you could stop right there. As well, you might want to do some splatter or something, but I'm going to give it some vintage photo splatter, as well as go around the edges and even in a little bit over some of the embossed area with the vintage photo. I'm going to dry the splatter first because I don't want to smear the splatter. And again, wiping off the areas of the embossing just to bring that pink back. And this is the vintage photo around the edges. I do bring it in more than that though. Yeah. I stopped to take a look, and that's when I'm like, okay, I'm bringing that in. Next up is to collage. So I'm going to put some vintage photo around all the edges of everything, just so they're not white edges peeking through. Everything is a digital download on here. I don't have anything that's not. And I love that flower. I'll be using that again for sure. It's a really pretty one. I'm not sure exactly what kind of flower it's supposed to be, but it is pretty. So once I know where they're gonna go, I glue them on. that piece is a portion of a tag. I have these things called faded tags, and often I don't use it as a tag. I'll either punch something out of them or take a portion of it and use it in a way. But sometimes I use it as a tag. I really like how this one turned out with the clear embossing powder. I think that was really awesome. Of course, with that stencils was pretty good too. So I'll be at least using the clear embossing part of that again for sure. Trim anything off the edges, although I don't trim some things like the little flower. If it sneaks off, I won't trim that. Just stems or sometimes leaves, but I usually don't trim major things unless it's really going off. Only the body of the butterfly gets glue, just so the wings can come up a little bit, even though they kind of get mashed down after a while, but you can bring them up again. I'm going to use Vintage Photo and Worn Lipstick for the seam binding ribbon. If you're looking to purchase any of these supplies, check my Amazon cart to see what's there. I don't do any Tim Holtz products because it's cheaper to buy from those people, but I may have some things in my Amazon cart, and it doesn't cost you any more. It's the same price, but it gives me just a little bit, maybe a % or 2 from that sale. That would be helpful. Thank you. And that's it. If you haven't subscribed, I invite you to do that. If you like this piece, give me a thumbs up or a comment. It's supposed to be even better. So I'll see you next time.